What's up, everyone? Today we're taking a quick look at the Brave Commander Transformers 1 Optimus Prime. I want to start with a quick size comparison to the Studio Series Transformers 1 Optimus and the mainline Deluxe one to show you that he towers over them. He's more like a leader class figure from the early 2000s than he is Studio Series or anything from the current mainline. And here he is next to some other contemporary Optimus figures. He towers over all of them and is even bigger than the new SS-86 Optimus Prime, who's fairly large compared to other modern figures. Since he doesn't really scale with other figures well, I would say the main reason to get this guy is for his rich features and poseability. So for one thing, he's got opening hands right here, which of course is not on the Studio Series Transformers 1 Optimus. He also has a faceplate that you can rotate around and reveal his mouth. So there you can see his mouth face, which I think is really cool. You don't get that on a lot of Optimus Prime figures, despite the fact that so many incarnations have him able to remove his faceplate. So it's pretty cool to have that on a figure. He, of course, has his big blue Energon axe there. He also has quite a fair number of 5mm ports if you wanted to plug in weaponized from past lines and things like that. The Studio Series figure and mainline do not have that, which is pretty cool that they added it here. And here he is with some of those 5mm ports I mentioned utilized. They're on the shoulders and on the back. It's a pretty fun gimmick, and I'm glad that they're still including these ports on figures to use these parts on, and all the different parts that have been coming out ever since they introduced this gimmick. And then finally, we have a removable Matrix of Leadership, and I really like that, unlike the smaller figures, his chest opens in an accurate way where it opens both from the top and the bottom. On the Studio Series and mainline figure, it only opens from the top, it doesn't split in two like this. And it also looks really good, the clear plastic showing the Matrix in there, and the Matrix itself is painted quite nicely. And the Matrix is, of course, removable. The final feature is a spring-loaded one, and yeah, we don't really get that much anymore except on these movie-exclusive Takara figures. If you press this tab on the back of his shoulder, then you get a pop-out arm cannon right here. Boom, so there's one arm, and I'll do it on the other arm here. There you go, so those are some cool shoulder cannons. Even though I've seen the movie 3 times, I can't quite remember if he actually uses these in robot mode in the movie. Someone tell me in the comments. But they're definitely utilized in vehicle mode, and this gimmick is also available in vehicle mode. The other big appeal of this figure is his poseability. Tried to get him into a pretty deep stance here to showcase that knee poseability there, which is really good. We've got rocking ankles. Of course, we've got really dynamic hips there, elbow joint, shoulder joint. His head, unfortunately, can't look that far up, though it is on a transformation panel there, so you can kind of cheat it a little bit if you want to push it further. That's the one thing that I think is limited in terms of his poseability, but otherwise, yeah, we've got a strong waist articulation there, the opening hands, as I already mentioned, elbows, shoulders, pretty much everything you would expect from basically a Masterpiece level poseability, except for maybe the ab crunch is the only thing that I think maybe a Masterpiece might have that this figure doesn't, but otherwise super poseable. Speaking of poseability, I think it's always great when an Optimus can hold his own Matrix of Leadership like that. And here we have his vehicle mode. I don't have too much to say about this vehicle mode other than the fact that it's pretty clean. You don't have any obviously visible robot kibble, which should be expected from a Cybertronian design since they can kind of do whatever they want. And it has a good number of 5mm ports. These are on his back in robot mode. These are on the shoulders in robot mode, and they're still present, so if you want to put some weapons on him, you can still do that. The wheels are quite small, but they roll decently well. In the movie, he doesn't have like explicit rubber wheels because, of course, this is a Cybertronian mode. So I think they made that work well. And finally, he has the gimmick in robot mode still here in vehicle mode. So the same tabs that were here behind his shoulders in robot mode, you can press in vehicle mode and you get some pop-out vehicle mode cannons here on either side. These were in the movie a couple of times, I think, so it's really nice to see those represented here. And unlike the Studio Series figure, which just has a add-on piece to represent that, it's pretty cool that they actually transform out of the shoulders here. Looks pretty nice. So that is the Transformers 1 Brave Commander Optimus. Highly recommend this figure if you're just looking for a fun leader class Optimus that echoes the gimmicks and feel of older figures from the 2000s. Or, of course, if you're looking for a great representation of the Transformers 1 Optimus specifically. And if you haven't seen that movie yet, I highly recommend checking it out as a Transformers fan. It was definitely a treat. I went and saw it 3 times. And yeah, there's some great designs in it with some great figures coming out like this one. Check him out and the others at toydojo.com.